Welcome back, friends. Thanks for joining me. This video is stage one of a portrait of this beautiful young lady here. A well-done portrait provided by Pexels.com. I've made an electronic sketch of this, which is free for you to download. It's in the link below. I'm convinced that this short video will be helpful for your portraiture. I have electronically produced an image here that I would like this final portrait to look like using a free program called Krita. Even though this final portrait will be in oil paint, I'm painting it on watercolor paper. I've coated the paper with acrylic gesso. If this was a commissioned portrait, I would be using fine linen. This method is the easiest and most effective way to produce a portrait. The preliminary sketch is critical, but not hard. Ben Lustenauer, a professional portrait artist, provides 3 easy methods to transfer the image to canvas. I'll leave a link to that video below. If you've used a pencil or charcoal to transfer your image to the canvas, you'll want to treat it first with some Kramer varnish, available in most craft stores. I'm using acrylic red ochre and white to begin with here. A little spray bottle of water will help keep the acrylic moist. But you'll want a pretty small brush for the first stage here. It works well to start with the very darkest areas of the face. That'll be like the corners of the mouth, the nostrils, and the inner part of the eye. These areas are the most critical part of a portrait. I've found that if I take my time at this stage, it makes the final stages much easier. If we make this underpainting recognizable, then the final oil paint is much easier. And also, it saves a lot of time. The easy part is great for beginners. The fast part is great for professionals. For professional artists, time is money. You'll see many portrait demonstrations on YouTube where the artist starts on raw canvas with a brush and blocks out major color areas and then refines those areas as he or she goes. This does demonstrate an incredible amount of talent, but I'm telling you from experience, that method has a very steep learning curve. As we go along, I'll point out some other advantages of using this method. So, is this cheating? Not at all. I think the word we want to use here is efficiency. I do want to mention here the importance of sketching with a simple sketchbook and a pencil. That skill is critical for any artist. Sketch whenever you have the opportunity. This will definitely transfer over to your skill with a brush. You'll notice here that in the lighter shaded areas, then I start mixing a lot of white in with the pure color. The shading isn't as important as the fine marks like around the eyes and the nose and the mouth. The shading, of course, we can change. But the important thing to remember about this method is that when we put the oil paint over the top, if we get lost or make a mistake, we can simply wipe it off, lift off the oil color, and underneath we have a recognizable image, almost like an undo button in electronic vernacular. One thing I really love about working with acrylic paint is that it blends so well together right on the canvas. A good example of this is that you'll see as I work down underneath the chin. At this stage, making a mistake is really easy just to wipe off the canvas. Another advantage of doing this method is that, again, once we start with the final oil color, getting the tones and the colors we want is so much easier. If the color isn't right, it's easy to change. You'll see how easy this is when we start putting the oil paint on the canvas. As you can see here, that putting the shadow underneath the hat brings out the highlights on the left side of her face. As we get away from the details in the face, as far as the eyes and the nose and the mouth, we start to free up our strokes a little bit and try to make it look more sketchy, if you will. In these areas, we're not concerned about the accuracy at all. Just what we want to see is the freedom of strokes. It always helps to give that acrylic paint a little spritz of water now and again, keep it nice and fresh. With that fine spray, it doesn't really dilute the color at all. I'm not really too concerned about the accuracy in all the peripheral areas, just trying to get some preliminary shading in. Once we have a good solid underpainting with a good likeness of the character, that frees us up so we can relax and have positive strokes with the final color. Okay, now we have something to go by. few areas around the jaw and the ear and even the lower part of the right eye are a little off, but with the oil paint we'll fix all that. That'll come in part 2 of this portrait. So if you've found this video helpful and informative, hit that like button. And if you'd like to see the finishing stage of this portrait, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Then you'll be notified when it comes out. So, right now, thanks for watching. I'm Steve Rathburn. Catch you on the second half.